Yo YouTube, what is going on? Jake Felzine here, back with another GoPro Hero 7 video. Ooh, guys, I am pumped on today's video. I've been trying to make this one for a very long time and just haven't gotten around to it because honestly, what we're talking about today is sometimes the most fun I have when I'm out making videos using this technique. I just think it's so much fun. I think you can get so creative. And the cool thing is it's all with your camera. You don't have to have anything fancy in your software, and you can make some really, really cool videos. So today, guys, we are talking transitions. So guys, a lot of you have asked in the past, where do I get my transitions? And the answer is, well, it depends. If it's a post transition that I put in post, in Final Cut after the shooting of the video, and it's all in post, I'm using a lot of transitions from a guy named Ryan Nangle. He's a super great Final Cut editor, does a ton of awesome tutorials. Go check out his channel. He does some really fantastic stuff. But again, a lot of his transitions cost money. He's doing a business out of it. And if you don't want to pay money for transitions, the technique we're talking about today can really save the bank because it doesn't cost any money. It's completely free. If you've got your GoPro, all you need is your editing software. It doesn't have to have anything fancy because we're just putting clips back to back. This is what you can do, and it's completely free, and it's just awesome. So what we are talking about, of course, guys, is in-camera transitions. Now, really anything can be an in-camera transition. I could go from one shot to the next and just do a hard cut, and that would totally work, right? A lot of people do that, and that's awesome. When we're talking about in-camera transitions, we're usually talking about seamless ways where it looks as if the camera didn't stop recording and we go from sort of one shot to the next in a way that just kind of melts together and looks really good. As you guys saw in the intro, I use this technique a whole lot of times where it just looks like, well, wait a minute, there was a transition there, but we didn't really see exactly where the camera stopped recording and started recording again because it just feels continuous. And that's really where this shines. Now you guys may be wondering, well, Jake, why the GoPro? Why does the GoPro so good at this? The GoPro is an amazing tool for in-camera transitions because of its size. You can put it anywhere and fling it around and do all kinds of crazy stuff with it, which makes these transitions a lot easier, but also it has a fixed field of view. Now, obviously that can change. You could do super view, wide, linear, and I think those are your only three options. But a lot of times if you pick one of those field of views like wide or super view, you then have a consistent 100% always going to be the same field of view through the rest of your video. And it's cool because when you do that and you do these transitions, there's nothing that's going to fool your eye and go, oh, okay, this was shot at like a slightly different focal length. With my main camera, I've done a lot of in-camera transitions as well, and I accidentally have in the past gone from one clip to the next and changed the zoom or the focal length, and it doesn't work as well. It can work and you can definitely pull it off and it can look really cool, but a lot of times it just doesn't work. It's kind of, you know, as a viewer, we see that change and we go, oh yeah, there was definitely a hard cut there. Totally doable depending on how you do it, but it definitely helps to just have a consistent field of view and you're gonna get that really smooth transition all the time. Okay, so we kind of know what in-camera transitions are. We kind of know what we're shooting for. So what are some tips and tricks on how to get them? Well, guys, let's kind of cover them right now. I'll kind of show you guys with my GoPro in my hand here in the studio and some B-roll, and we're gonna just go over sort of my way to get in-camera transitions. The first and most easiest one, guys, and I use this one all the time, is simply taking your GoPro and just whipping and panning really quickly. So you're going to be looking at something and then maybe you just pan away, and then in your next shot, to keep a continuous movement, you're going to enter the next shot going in the same direction. What this does is it creates motion blur so that when you stitch those two clips together in post, they can almost act as if that motion was what changed from one clip to the next. This technique is super powerful. You can go up and down, you can go side to side, diagonal, whatever, as long as you keep that planar motion from one clip to the next. So at the end of one clip, you're doing a motion and then you basically continue that same motion in the second clip. It's gonna look really good. It's gonna look super smooth. That's my favorite go-to in-camera transition, is just kind of a whip pan where you get that motion blur to basically go from one shot to the next. I love that one. That's my favorite go-to. The second one that I like, and as you guys saw this morning, is to actually go into something that is a similar color or maybe black and then pull out of something else that is the same color or black again. In the one I did this morning, you guys saw me go into the coffee pot and then come out of the coffee cup, and it was from black to black, and that kind of allowed you to do a transition from one spot to the next, and it felt very fluid. Another way that I like to do this technique, and it's definitely like not as cool, but it still can work really well, I did it in this morning's video, and I think it worked nicely, is to actually take your hand, cover that lens, and then next shot that comes after that, open up and reveal the camera for the continuation. And you could be at a completely different shot, and that works really well. The nice thing about GoPros, guys, is you don't have to be too worried about smudging the lens, because you know, you can just clean it off, rub it on your shirt, you're good to go, all your fingerprints are gone. And also these lens caps that are on the GoPro Hero 7 are like super cheap to replace. I've already replaced mine, I think once or twice, just from bike crashes and scratching it and that kind of stuff. But anyway, that's sort of the second way to do that, is just go into something and then come out, make it the same color. This can work really well with the sky. If you've got a nice big blue sky, you can pan up to a blue sky, and then when you come down, you could be in a completely different spot, but as long as the sky looks about the same, you're gonna get a really cool transition from going up to the sky and then down in a completely different spot. All right, and so my third sort of way that I love doing in-camera transition is with motion. Now, obviously, it's all kind of related to motion, but these are specific actions that you do from one frame to the next. So for example, you guys saw this morning me jumping out of the car and then landing in a different spot. Because my body, that action is continuous, that transition is more believable, and it looks kind of cool, like almost as soon as I hit, we're teleported to a new spot. I really like doing those action moves. I also did that when I was running, and then I kind of whipped my arm in front of the frame, and then in the next shot I did the same thing and just kind of stitched a middle point for those so that I could sort of use an action to get to the next spot. So anyway, guys, those are my main three techniques that I use for in-camera transitions with your GoPro. I think they work phenomenally, and again, guys, they're completely free. All you need to be able to do is kind of think creatively with how you want to stitch these transitions together, and then you just need a video editor that can slice footage and put them next to each other, and that's about it. That is all you need to do these transitions. No fancy plugins, nothing like that. It's just putting clips one after the other in a way that you've thought through how to sort of seamlessly go from one to the next. So they're just super cool, and they're really fun because they make you think ahead and go, okay, what could I do next that would be a really cool transition to skip from one thing to the next and kind of have this just sort of fun, seamless sort of edit. And I just think they turn out super cool. I'm a huge fan of how they look. But anyway, guys, just trying to keep this tutorial short and sweet. Get out there, grab your GoPros, go play around with this technique. It is a ton of fun. It's honestly one of my favorite ways to go shoot video. Every time I go out with my GoPro, I just think, man, I wish I could shoot 100% with this camera, because when it comes to shooting with this camera, this is probably my favorite camera to shoot with. When it comes to editing, obviously I am always working towards maybe one day working on like an independent film or something like that, so a GoPro just isn't quite going to cut it. But from just a fun, you know, kind of upbeat, go have fun, capture some memories camera, you seriously cannot beat the GoPro. These cameras are just awesome, and there's just so many fun things you can do with them. But anyway, you guys have a great rest of your day. I'm gonna get out of here, and as always, do not forget that creativity comes from constraint. If you guys like this video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one. Okay, see you guys.